Oh my goodness. Okay. We are officially live. If you have been waiting for Faye and I on
Thank
Facebook,
you.
thank you. And we
Well, we figured it out.
finally. I mean, this helps because I don't feel like I'm losing my mind completely. Yes, I'm not as technically challenged as I thought I was. So this is fantastic. Okay, so everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been patiently waiting for us to go live, we really, really appreciate it. And so we will rewind. We will rewind and start our conversation because it was really good. So, Fan,
I have to try to remember what I said.
I know. We have been celebrating in the background, though, for those of you who may not know, Faye and I have been having a good conversation in spite of
just talking to ourselves.
We've been chit-chatting with ourselves. If you are with us, please let us know that you are tuning in. Please let us know by saying hello in the chat. Say hello and then let us know what city are you representing tonight. Let us know that you are live and that you are feeling this show because you are able to just get the technology up and running. I would say I was able to get that thing up and running, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it is working and it's official. So again, welcome to Side Chat. It is our pilot for the show. So again, we appreciate your patience with the technology. Again, let us know that you are here. A hello, a hi, city that you're from would be so helpful at this moment so that we know that the technology is working. I am your co-host, Felina Martin. As I said earlier, when you could not hear me, I am single, a proud mom, a proud daughter, an entrepreneur spirit and active entrepreneur, and also most recently an author of Sunshine and Hell, a book that is scheduled to be released on April the 14th on National Ex-Spouse Day. So that's really cool. And we get to raise our glass again and say cheers to all of you for joining us. Happy Valentine's Day. This is a great day for loving yourself. So again, welcome to the show. And again, type in the comments, say hello, let us know that you're here so we know this thing is working. All right. Mm-hmm. But without further ado, I want to introduce Dr. Faye Hargrove, who is joining Side Chat, my partner in crime in this journey, and just go over her incredible bio because she's just done some amazing work. But Dr. Hargrove earned her PhD in industrial organizational psychology from the University of Georgia. She is the founder and CEO of the Better Choices Group, LLC in Augusta, and offers trauma-informed coaching services to improve mental wellness. Dr. Hargrove has impacted thousands of lives over the last 20 years. I don't know how she did it. She's been doing this since 10. And she's impacted those lives through coaching as a certified mental health first aid instructor. She's impacted lives with training and her wonderful book called Better Choices. And then she's also the founder, as if she's not busy enough, she's also the founder of Reframing Therapy. Faye, please tell us more about Reframing Therapy. I want everybody to know about that.
Thank you for that kind introduction. You could have kept going. I was enjoying it. So Reframing Therapy is a new behavioral technology that allows me as a coach to help my clients let go of stored negative emotions like anger or hurt or fears, their guilt, their limiting beliefs, not manage them, but actually let them go. The best way to understand it is to use going to the dentist to get your teeth clean as an analogy. So when you go into the dentist to get your teeth clean, they're interested in scraping the tartar from your teeth, right? They're not going to ask you what you ate, how did it taste? Let's analyze it. The whole idea is to clean the teeth. And so when we go through life, we have emotional tartar that sticks, right? And so with Reframing Therapy, it allows me to help my client to just let go of the anger. You don't have to talk about it. We don't have to go there again and feel it. We just let it go. We let go of their fears and the depression or the grief and the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt. And so what you have is a fresh perspective.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. How long did it take for you to come up with that, with Reframing Therapy? New concept.
Well, I based it on a process in neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. It's called timeline therapy, where you can actually let go of the emotions. But then I built into it a forgiveness process and a spiritual component. So it took me about 5 years to evolve it. And then I've been doing it for about 10 years in its present form. Yeah. And it is an amazing, it allows you to make amazing shifts. You know, how many times have people said, girl, you just need to let go of that? But nobody ever tells you how. And so there really is an easy way to just let go of that and keep it moving.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure after 10 years, you've perfected it. And I think I saw that it was evidence-based. So you have been able to go through the steps and just confirm its effectiveness. So thank you for putting that up there. Again, if you're joining us, thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. I know your time is valuable, and we've got some great information for you, some juicy stuff to share too tonight. So we again appreciate you tuning in. And a little bit about the show with Side Chat. Again, our pilot show for the evening. We are providing a platform, an informal platform for and creating an online community for those who have been impacted by any form of trauma, from a bad relationship, a romantic partner. And trauma can come in lots of different forms. Even if you're feeling some kind of way about that last relationship, then
if you just can't get them out of your head, I mean, it's so you're done with them, but they stick around in your head and in your heart.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, yes. This is a space for you. If you want to vent, this is a space for you. And then we're also going to provide some books, some websites, some resources. And of course, Faye is here as well too. If you want to put questions in the comment section, we welcome your questions in the comment section as well too. And we'll try to address those as best we can. So Faye, should we get started with our first? Yes, yes. So we do have a poll. You know, whether the thing is going to work or not is a whole different story. But we do have a little poll to share with everybody. And it's something you just put in the chat. You know, that's all we want. Nothing formal. You can put it in the chat. I will also try to launch it on the website. We'll see. The technology has not been in our favor this evening. But the first question is simply, are you single? Are you married? Engaged, or it's complicated AF? Woo. Good thing. Now, I think I understand you've been married for 42 lovely years.
42 years. We both would agree that they have not always been lovely. We spent 2 years apart, being separated, learning how to be back together without kids in the house, and renegotiating the way we do marriage. And now it's working.
I appreciate your honesty and transparency about that. But if we were to leave it to Hollywood, you know, every marriage is perfect. Every marriage is beautiful. And you know, you've got the white horse on the beach love, and
it never works like that.
Never works like that, right? We have our own fantasies. Do you think that some of that may be rooted from women's perspective of love, like with Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, and then even maybe men's perspective of love? Where does that come from, that unrealistic picture?
It comes from incorrect programming about what relationships are and what they should be. So we go into these relationships first thinking that we can change the man and mold him into what we think he should be. That's not going to happen. So if he's not what you already want by the time you meet him and can accept him without judgment, then don't go into it thinking it's going to be different.
Ooh.
And the second thing is what the relationship should look like. My husband and I couldn't be two more different people. And so when you have two different people living in the same household, you're going to want different things, and you're going to approach things differently. And so we had to learn to be okay with that, so that my feelings don't get hurt when he doesn't agree with me or like it my way, and his don't get hurt when I don't like things the way he does. So we have to be okay with being different.
Yeah.
That's a point.
How long did it take for both of you to get to that point of accepting?
42 years, 41 years.
Okay.
It's still a work in progress. It really is a work in progress. We are still, that the period of being separated really helped me. I can't speak for him, but it helped me to get to know myself and understand my priorities and what's important to me, and then really appreciate what I had that I was trying to change.
Yes. That's beautiful.
To morph into being more like me instead of valuing, what he is and, the differences. So we talk about diversity training. We need to talk about diversity training in relationships.
That's a really good point. Yes, I completely agree. Because I'll be honest with you. When I got married, I had that Cinderella story in my head, and perspective of what it was supposed to be like. And, it was so crazy because it was completely different than what I was witnessing with my parents. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
And
a big part of my journey also was not needing someone else to complete me. So growing up as an adult, growing up and understanding that I am enough and I don't need another human being to complete me. Now that was a long journey. But that is huge. When we're looking for somebody else to make us happy or to complete us, we'll fail every time.
Yes. Anytime, like, again, this single life is rough out here in these streets. When I'm dating and if I notice a gentleman who's like, I'm looking for my other half, or I'm looking for someone to complete me, I run. I'm like,
you should.
I need you already packaged and ready to go. And, as much as possible. And we're all work in progress until the day we die. But I'm just like, I don't have the time to try to do that.
Yeah.
To complete you. That's a big burden to bear, to put on somebody.
So, I think the ideal relationship is when I bring my 100% and you bring your 100%. And I will try to give you my best self and you try to give me your best self. And they'll overlap in some ways, but maybe I can accept the things about you that are different and learn to love it, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just tolerate it.
Yes, that is true. That is so true. Wow. Well, again, thank you for those who are tuning in. Apologize about the technical difficulties. I've been playing around in the background here to try and, get everybody connected in best format as possible. So we actually have 2 events going on. I don't know if you knew that, right? We're just a popular demand. So we've got 2 Facebook parties happening at the same time. But, thank you for mentioning that. For those of you who are tuning in, of course, this can be replayed and you can listen in because there's some really valuable information here, particularly if you are walking in your singleness and you're owning it. There is a reason of why we are going through that journey. I remember hearing a sermon about being single, that it is a time and a season for that, and what joy there can be in experiencing that. And I have found the blessing in it. Having been married for 16 years, I understand. And now single for just about as long as I was married. Ooh, what's going on? I can't believe it. Ooh, goodness.
Well, there's this expectation, right or wrong, that if you're a woman, you're supposed to get married. And so a lot of women feel like there's something wrong with them if they are single. But suppose you aspire to be single. My daughter is wonderful. She's 38 and has no desire to get married. And that's life to her as a single woman is heaven.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So we shouldn't put that expectation on people that being single is a fallback position because it's not necessarily so.
I completely agree. And it's interesting to see the tides changing because they are saying statistically that millennials or the younger, they are waiting longer to get married, if they even get married, which is very fascinating. I love to see the independence and the self-love.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, you're more likely to be poor. Particularly if you're a single mother raising children, more of them are in poverty. And the research does show that people who are married live longer and have happier lives.
Really?
There's real research around that. So there are benefits of being married. So I'm not saying that marriage is, something that you don't aspire for, but if you aspire, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat, that's what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Huh, okay. Love that. Well, thank you for those who are popping in. Appreciate it. And I appreciate you, those who are sending me text messages, who are trying to get in. And we've like switched platforms and stuff, all that kind of good stuff. So thank you for your patience. But this is being recorded, so we want you to enjoy it. I think we should switch over to some of these questions that we have on here. Okay. We talked a little bit earlier. I'm going to skip the stereotypes of being single because we're going to circle back around that. We talked a little bit just now about shaping the perspective of how we shape our perspectives of relationships, which I think is very fascinating. How did you shape your perspective of like marriage? Where did that all happen for you? If you don't mind me asking, I'm curious.
It was totally dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I wanted to marry a man that was as unlike my father as I could find on the face of the earth. Seriously.
Oh, that's priceless, because they say a lot of us marry our fathers.
Well, some people can. That was not my choice. And so, but as a result, because my mother and my father did divorce early on, I did not have the example of what a loving husband would look like in the home. I did not, the stereotypical provider or protector type. I didn't know that was what I should have been looking for. And so I think it's important, before you jump into a lifetime partnership, to know what the partner can look like and should look like, and not just go on this heart stuff, because the heart can fool you.
Right.
So I was talking to a young man the other day, and he started a student at Augusta University. He just met this young woman, and the young woman has a list, and she's told him that he checked all of her boxes. So I wanted to know what were the boxes. So she had a list of deal breakers, like he was selfish and irresponsible and couldn't manage money. And then she had things that she looked for, like he was humorous and he liked to have fun and he liked to cook and he liked to snuggle. And so I wasn't smart enough. And even though I was 26 when I got married, I still wasn't smart enough to make myself a list of boxes and a list of deal breakers. And had I done that, I wouldn't have had to go through some of the relationships that I went through before I decided, ooh, this isn't working. Wow. So, yeah, so I guess the moral of that story is sit down and think about who you are and who would make a good partner for you.
Yeah, have you heard this thing? I think it's so fascinating. I've heard a number of different women who said, okay, once they sat down and wrote down everything that they wanted out of a partner. Even Viola Davis writes this in her book, which I thought was fascinating. Everything, and being very, very specific, everything you want in your partner. So when Viola Davis puts in her book, Finding Me, she wrote every single detail. She wanted a country man. She wanted a tall man. She was a godly man. And she wrote all of those things down, prayed on it, and then continued to live her life. And as she continued to live her life, shortly thereafter, there he was.
There he was.
Yeah. There he was. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
But the key was, though, to define the parameters. Ooh. So when she did that, she could recognize him when he showed up.
Ooh. What? Rich, yes. Because I guess you're right. If we don't have those parameters written down, anything could come our way. And
that's right.
We could just settle for whatever.
So, they say if you don't know where you're going, any bus will take you there.
No, that's right. Yeah, and there's not too many people that I know who just going to hop on any bus.
Well, we hop in relationships and we aren't really deliberate about who we're talking to and what we expect from the relationship.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful. Well, thank you for that. And I'm going to move into this one because I think you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but just to be clear for our viewers, what happens when we do not heal from one relationship? We've ended one relationship. We have not healed from it. And what happens when we go to the next relationship without healing? And this is for men and women. I mean, yes, you're looking at two phenomenal females in front of you, but this applies to men as well too. So what happens?
One of the things that we do is when we feel rejected or when we feel we failed in a relationship, we are looking for immediate validation. So it's almost the next thing that comes along that says you are okay. We hop on that train. And that's a big mistake until we can step back and say, what went wrong here? And take responsibility for what you might have done to make it go wrong, and then make some corrections and change that. Other than, if you don't do that, if you just hop on the next bus that comes along and says, I like you, you're not going to succeed in that relationship.
I like how you say, I like you.
Because when we break up, we're looking for validation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, particularly if we feel rejected, you just want to know that somebody wants you, that somebody thinks you're okay. And so the biggest factor about them is they think I'm okay.
Right. And then it's elevated to a whole nother level if there's cheating involved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. A whole nother. I don't go into that deep into the memoir when, Sunshine in Hell, the book comes out again, April the 14th. But there's a little side, something going on. And just your feeling of worthlessness after you've been betrayed in a relationship like that. When you're physical with somebody and they choose to be physical elsewhere, your self-worth, like you said, it's horrible, and you're looking for validation from any and everything.
And so, but a lot of that also is our expectations. Why is it that 50% of marriages end, and most marriages, one partner in the marriage cheats? I happen to believe that human beings aren't built to be loyal like that and monogamous and just one partner throughout a lifetime. I mean, some birds are, some animals are, they'll mate for life. But just look at the evidence. And so what we have to do, I think, is learn to forgive if someone acts on their human tendency. And maybe it's not about you at all. I mean, not you personally, but maybe it's not about their partner at all. Maybe it's about them. Maybe it's about them looking for something to fill a hole in their experience or their perspective. Women who grow up without a father and without a man in their life to validate them make bad choices about relationships. They're looking for that figure, that male figure, to say you're okay, or to just even show them the physical love. So sometimes it's not about whether or not they're faithful to you. It's about them meeting a need that they have in order to feel whole, whether or not it's healthy or not. So we have to learn how to deal with infidelity in a real way. Right.
Now, okay, so here's I've got this. I'm totally off script on this one.
I know this is not on the paper.
I know, right? But it's so fascinating. I can't help it. So you mentioned women who were raised and did not have a male or father figure.
Mm-hmm.
What about men who were raised and didn't have maybe a mother figure, or even that father figure? So how does that flip and reverse with genders?
So it's like, this is not a hard and fast rule, because we have some children that have two fathers or two mothers, or and I'm not sure what the research is saying about that, but I know that typically when the opposite sex parent teaches the child how to be in relationship with that opposite sex human being. Yeah. And so growing up without a father, I envied my friends who were their father's princess, and who had a great relationship with their fathers, whose fathers protected them and adored them. I never had that. And so, and when you figure that a lot of children growing up these days, particularly in the African-American community, do not have fathers in the household, how do those girls learn to be in relationship with a man? How do those boys learn to relate to a woman when they don't see a man in the household respecting their mother and loving their mother? Where do you learn that role from? And so we go through life. It really does create a deficit. It creates a void that unconsciously we go through life trying to fill.
Wow. That's incredible. Faye, can you still hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So I may have frozen on the screen, but I can hear you very well.
You didn't. Did I freeze? You didn't freeze.
No. I don't know what's going on with this whole little Microsoft Edge. But anyways, thank you for sharing that, because I just think it's a valid point. And I really believe that viewers need to hear that. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes the emotional burden is put so much on women. Like you didn't have a dad, and being fatherless, that I think sometimes we also forget about the male responsibility of owning their emotions from maybe absent parent. And how that impacts their ability to have relationships. So again, if you're joining us, thank you so much. We appreciate your patience with our technology issues that we are experiencing this evening, but so glad that you have joined us. And please know that I will not be removing the video off of Facebook anytime soon, because I would love for you to be able to enjoy and hear the conversation. So we're going to continue going on with some of our questions, because I don't want to miss any of these that we had written down. Oh, well, here's one. I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's see if there's anything else you want to elaborate on this. Why do men and women view being single or married differently? So our genders, why do we see it differently? You know, I think like my son, 26, he's awesome. He's currently in love, and I just love that he's in love right now. But you know, his perspective of being single, he's like, you know, I'm good. You know, I like to, you know, date and all that kind of good stuff. And that's all well and good. His age group just looking at marriage as not really maybe back in the day as a necessity, specifically even for women. As a necessity with income. So, I mean, why do they view being single? Like dating, these men, I don't know why if they call at 9 o'clock on a Friday night and you don't pick up the phone, they're mine. What are you thinking I'm doing Friday at 9 o'clock at night just because I don't answer the phone? You know, I've had gentlemen like, well, where were you? Who were you with? Were you out on a date? Or they're too scared to even ask.
So I think our programming and the way women are raised and the expectations that are set for them is different from the expectations set for men. Remember, it wasn't too many generations ago that women went to college to find a husband.
That's right. Yes.
No man went to college to find a wife. Right. Because we were taught that you need a provider and a protector and somebody, you need to marry well so that you can have a good life. And that wasn't that long ago that it was actually a reality in our country. But these days, women are breadwinners, just like, I mean, we work side by side. Even though women make, 80 cents on the dollar that guys make, we still bring our own stuff to the table.
Right.
But yet the expectations for marriage are different.
Yes.
Guys think of it as a ball and chain sometimes.
Exactly. That's right. Yes. Like they're losing something.
Yeah. Like they're losing something. And the women look for the Prince Charming, the knight in white armor. Yes. someone to come along and rescue them and save them. I mean, that's a stereotype, and I'm glad that it's changing, but that's historically, that's the way we've been programmed.
Right, right. Well, I love to see the switch as well too. I think society is definitely switching that, with women being able to buy homes on their own and cars, and there is a lot more flexibility economically that women are experiencing that traditionally had not been there. And I know we're getting down to the time, and we want to still, even though we've had technology problems tonight, and I've experienced technology problems getting things up tonight, we don't want to forget the time. So I'm going to run down this quick list. In fact, I'd love to get your feedback about this.
Okay, let's do it.
Married 42 years, but you've had a little singleness in there, right? So you can understand this. First one on the list, Faye, is so sunny side of being single. Number one, you don't have to share the bed. Oh, and I can snore as loud as I want to. Oh my God.
So my husband has sleep apnea, and he sleeps with a CPAP machine.
Yes. Well, my ex-husband did not have sleep apnea, but he could throw down with the snoring and have to roll him over to the side. Oh my gosh.
But the beauty of it is that after 42 years, we've learned to carve out our own spaces in the house. He has his end of the house. He can snore, be a slob, do whatever he wants to. I have my end of the house. I can be happy in my space. And when we come together, we're not putting pressure on each other to be what the other person needs.
I love that. I think that's beautiful.
So yeah, not having to put up with the snoring is a beautiful thing.
It really is. It's just me and my world with snoring. I didn't even know I snored until a friend came to visit, and they were in the next room. They're like, "Girl."
Whoa.
But yes, you can snore as loud. You can sleep in the middle of the bed. Well, it took a long time, Faye, before I was like, I used to still sleep on my side of the bed for years. And I'm like, what?
You can have the whole bed.
The whole bed now.
I can catty corner crossways in the bed.
I can roll all around now. So number two I have on my list is I can buy whatever I want without permission or approval or allowance. When I was married, yes, we would like have each other. I'd have an allowance, he'd have an allowance, and then there was a family account. So I can spend all the accounts on my account.
Or you can have separate checking accounts in your relationship. One that has all the bills and you take care of the household responsibilities, but then you can still be independent in your spending habits as long as it works for both of you.
That's it. I hear you. Well, I used to remember my mom. Oh, she would sneak in. She'd sneak in stuff all the time. She'd hide things in the trunk so my dad wouldn't see it. We'd bring it in the house, put it in the closet so dad wouldn't see it. Oh, she just loved to shop. Yes, indeed. And she'd hide it from my dad. He knew. She's like, at least
no, I've had this for years.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was another generation, fortunately. So the younger people who are listening can't imagine a life like that.
Yes, some of them might. Yes, sneaking stuff in the house because you're not supposed to be shopping for anything. Oh, I can cook whenever and whatever I want. If tonight's a cereal night, guess nobody else care but me. PB&J, grilled cheese could be my best friend.
That's a great single life. Or if you're married, you could say, you're on your own tonight for dinner. I'm eating cereal. Pick up something on your way home from work. Stop by Jason's Deli or somewhere. Get that sandwich you like, because I just had a bowl of cereal. I'm good.
Get that sandwich that you like. I like that. Yes. Oh, I can watch whatever I want on TV, whatever movie I want to watch. I don't have to watch football if I don't want to watch football. Yes, I can watch whatever I want whenever I want.
That is true. Or if you've got a TV in the other room, you just go in the other room and watch what you want to watch.
Oh, but then where's the snuggle time? You get the snuggle time. That's like 42 years. 42 years.
an agreed upon movie.
Okay.
Not during my shows.
Of course not, right? And another one I have on here for those of you who are single. If you are a participant, we'd love to get your comments. Please feel free to throw those comments in the chat. If you've got, again, sunny side of being single, what are your ideas? But the last one I added to the list is I can share my time with whomever and whenever I like. So girlfriend getaways, trips, all that good stuff, happy hour, all the weekend, all those wonderful things. I don't have to share that time or coordinate an additional schedule to be able to do that. And I truly think that that is a sunny side of being single, is that freedom to invest that time and love into your girlfriends or family, friends that you have. I mean, just building those other relationships, which I think are important.
So all of those are wonderful sunny sides of being single. And I would say if you want a healthy marriage, you have to find a way to incorporate all of those things into your marriage.
Yes, yes, having a balance.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I address in the book Sunshine and Hell, and you'll see the transition in my 16-year marriage, where he became very possessive and also started to isolate me from my family and my friends, which was really important to me. And particularly, you knew it was bad when he started isolating me from my mother, that closest, tightest relationship I had. I really was a big red flag seeing that. So yeah, that be mindful of that. And I thank you for saying that, Faye. It should be a balance, whether you're married or single, to have that support of friends and family and other people that you can pour love into, which again, a lesson learned for me.
Well, good for you, though, that you recognized that you were being isolated and you were able to put a stop to it. So many people, they look so many years down the road and they've lost themselves. And at that point, it's really hard. It's really hard to get back.
Yes. And I found myself getting into that world of losing who I was, defining who I was according to me being married.
Right.
And
somebody else's expectations of who you should be, and trying to please them and be what they need you to be.
Exactly. You know, and I had, and it was interesting too, because in my marriage, my husband, again, at the time, and my really, really great friend, best friend. And it was really amazing that we were able to even become best friends, considering, you know, the impact that my ex-husband was trying to have. But she confronted him, you know, and said, hey, you know, I love this woman just as much as you do. You know, we need to figure this out. And so, you know, if you're in that situation where, you know, a relationship and you're feeling isolated, please address that. Please address that. Yeah.
Did we get any comments in the chat?
I don't see any, not on this platform that we're looking at. I don't see any in the chat. I see on something we did get a reaction, a thumbs up from something. So whoever that person was, thank you for the thumbs up. As we are trying to figure out this technology piece, we really do appreciate your patience and time this evening. And rest assured, next time we do the show, we will not have these complications. But before we leave for the evening, I can't believe the time went by so fast.
It really did.
How did this happen? Thank you. Yes, because we're having a good time. Well, there's a couple of books I wanted to share with our viewers, and you are more than welcome to throw out if you have any recommendations. But needless to say, we want to give a shout out to Faye and this wonderful publication, Better Choices. You can reach Dr. Faye Hargrove. It's very easy to find her online, and Better Choices if you'd like to have a conversation with her further and learn about her fabulous, fabulous book. I've got a fun one for you, ladies. Oh, yes. Sisters, you can thank me later. All right. And sisters of every shade. Okay. This book here, woo, Mr. Gumbo. Mr. Gumbo. Praise the two women who wrote this book. So Ursula and Miranda. Oh, here, let me move up so you can get a picture of that. This book is a good album. It's Mr. Gumbo, Down and Dirty with Black Men on Life, Sex, and Relationships. I learned so much in this book. Faye, it was amazing.
Wow.
Yes, it was amazing. Some really transparent truth from the men who were covered in here. And then I guess last but not least, I want to share with everyone and welcome you to the book release party for my book, Sunshine in Hell, which will be released on April the 14th. And Faye, no surprise in case people didn't know, that it happens to be National Ex-Spouse Day on April the 14th. So it's very fitting to have a book release party that day. And it will take place I'm so grateful to these wonderful sponsors. On April the 14th, 7 o'clock at Damon's Revenge Rage Room. Okay. I really shouldn't have to say any more about this, right? But Damon's Revenge Rage Room on April the 14th in Augusta, Georgia. Proud to support this small local business. But join us for a raging fun night of bleep, bleep, bleep. You'll hear from a panel. I'll read excerpts from the book, and the book will be released. First draft is going to be an ebook format. So I look forward to seeing you there. And then side chat, I've got a little evaluation. I'll throw that on the comment section so you can give us some feedback. I got the technology, so please don't put that on there. Yeah, I got that loud and clear. Please don't put that on there. But I definitely have an evaluation. We'd love to get your feedback about future shows. Faye, thank you so much.
Thank you, Felina. This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully somebody listening will decide that whatever their life is, married or single, they should make the most of it and be happy.
Amen. Yes. On that note, we'll close out the show. Thank you so much again.